down just a teeny bit so I don't like topple over. Okay.
I did. Would you mind saying your name to ensure our...
Sure, Emily Crawford. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, I might double check it. Does it say...
Hello.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear me
That'll
now?
Change it.
What was that commercial? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I know.
Thank you. Thank you. And then he went to T-Mobile. Is that what happened?
And then he was in Die Hard 3 or something.
What?
Die Hard 4, one of those.
For real?
Yeah, he was like the computer nerd guy.
I did not realize he had advanced in his career that far.
No, I think that's where he peaked.
Goes on. Okay. Am I in anyone's shop? Wait, no. Fantastic. Oh, thank you. That'd be awesome. Oh, no, you might just
the button gets switched, can I?
Sure.
Don't take it off. The
Okay.
Yeah, it just needs to be on this one.
Okay. So I turned it off while I.
Yes.
Okay. Technical errors.
It's okay. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here. I was telling Mrs. Crawford that I would just kind of help also introduce everyone. So, as you met from earlier today, Ron is here from the paper with Lanny Sneed, and Jeremy Ford's with the Fox affiliate that's out of San Angelo, but he's a Abilene diehard dedicated bureau reporter. Personality, Jesse Smith is a photographer with KTXS, and Caitlin is a reporter over here at the ABC affiliate. And Noah McKinney here is with KTAB, KRBC for CBS and NBC. So we can just kind of start things off. If you know, we wanted this to look as exciting and as New York as possible. So if you could all just start yelling questions at her at once. And then over here. So it's been an exciting day. I don't know if you want to kind of start over here, Noah, if you have any questions or anyone wants to kind of go at it first.
Nothing too hard off the bat. Just welcome to Abilene. How's it been so far?
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. Actually, that has been the best part, I think, so far of being here in Abilene is the people are so incredibly gracious, very warm and friendly, genuinely welcoming. All the staff has been really great, offering all kinds of help and support, the council as well. So I'm enjoying my second day on the job and look forward to many more.
Ms. Crawford, congratulations again. Talk to me a little bit about what this moment means to you.
Good question. So for me, I began my city management career about 11 years ago. I was with the city of Brownwood, and I had a mentor, longtime city manager, Bobby Roundtree, and he said, you know what, I think you can be a city manager, and I'm going to show you how. And so that's what began my interest and my desire to become a city manager. And I have really, really loved this career because I have always wanted to have a career where I could impact people's daily lives in a very positive way, and definitely local government gives me that opportunity to do that.
Listen, we've been to Brownwood a lot, things going on downtown, and then in fact, Brownwood just won that award for the city plan. And so, is there anything in that part of your career that you're excited to bring down here in Abilene, or just nervous about the transition? How are you feeling about coming from one to the other?
So comparing Brownwood to Abilene, there's definitely a little bit of apples and oranges, just due to the size and the complexity of the city. However, I do see so many similarities, like you referenced the downtown plan and the downtown revitalization in Brownwood, and that is exactly what is happening here in Abilene. Brownwood is known for its hub as an industrial base and a medical base. That's what Abilene is as well. We also have several higher education institutions here in Abilene. We had that in Brownwood as well. So there are very much overlap and similarities between the city. And so that actually has given me a lot of comfort and confidence that I know what I'm getting into. It's just on a different scale.
Ms. Harper, you talked about similarities. What are some very different or maybe Abilene specific things that you're hoping to improve?
hoping to improve, well, I can speak to the significant differences. And obviously that's going to be Dyess Air Force Base is a huge factor that is here in Abilene as a major economic driver and residential driver for our community. We did not have that dynamic in the city that I came from before. And then obviously just the dynamic of the size difference in the residential population. And I think that every city struggles with budgets. But I think city managers across the state would tell you that it doesn't matter how much money you have in your budget. It's probably never enough for what you really want to accomplish. So learning a different budget and being able to maximize those budgets for the benefit of everyone in the community is what I will be looking to do.
So you have been a leader in many instances in Brownwood and throughout your career. What are some of your guiding principles in leadership?
Thank you. Some of my guiding principles in leadership is that the leader is only as successful as the team. And so I very much believe in the dynamic of teamwork, of collaboration. And that's not just within the organization, but it's also within our partnerships in the community. And so I look forward to, number one, having relationships and knowing internally as well as externally. And then listening is a very important part of my leadership philosophy. I can't fix things if I don't truly understand the problem. And the way I learn and the way I understand greatly is by listening, and then also doing the research to make sure that I've looked at things from every possible perspective.
Can you talk about this a little this morning? Tell us what you're excited about in Abilene. What excites you about Abilene?
What is there not to be excited about in Abilene? Obviously everyone is talking about the Lancium project, and you and I discussed briefly what's happening with ACU with some of their innovation in science and technology. And so I do believe that is a very exciting dynamic that is in Abilene as far as beginning to see some new different kind of industry here that is more cutting edge, more innovative, more high tech. I think that as that grows and becomes established here, it will serve as a magnet for more of that type of industry. I'm excited about all of the quality of life projects with the recreation centers, the Heritage Square project, the downtown revitalization. I'm seeing more art and culture activities as well. So there is so much happening in Abilene that I believe that we truly are poised for some great synergy and also some growth because of all the different aspects. Residential, I mean, my goodness, in the city council meeting this morning, there were several zoning approvals today that were creating more residential zones, and that is critical for a growing community.
Following on something you said earlier about with Brownwood, there's been some discussion with the small business community that Abilene has been focused, the money from sales tax has been focused more towards attracting industry and larger employees or employers. And in Brownwood, by contrast, folks were saying that they have I don't know what's called, an AB something. Okay, and they said, they were saying that there's a bigger focus on small business, and so the downtown area has really thrived from that. Is that something that you hope to bring here from Brownwood, something like so that small businesses feel like that they have a stake in this community as well?
Well, first of all, successful economic development requires big business, big box, small mom and pop, the local variety. So it is going to require a mix of all of those things. And so what you have is a difference in a type of retail sales tax that can be used by state statute and what it can be used for. And you are correct, Brownwood has a different designation on what they can use those sales tax dollars for. I know that the city also has had some small business incentives. I haven't had a chance to dig into that thoroughly yet, but I would say that I certainly support economic development that touches all of those sectors, because you have to have them all to have that great diversity within your economy.
With all these projects going on in Abilene right now, I know, as you said it's your second official day here, but are there any project in particular that you've kind of been focusing in on? Anything that you're looking forward to starting up on soon?
Yes, I'm very excited about personally reviewing all of the master plans, because those are going to be the directives that staff are going to continue to be bringing to council for approval as those projects come together. So the discussion today in City Council meeting about the Cedar Creek Reservoir, that's significant. We have to secure long-term water resources for our city to continue to grow and recruit more industry and residents. So I'm excited about that. Certainly, I need to better understand the Lancium project and what that means for the city of Abilene and the residents. And I'm excited about downtown. I missed the CAF Festival. I'm a week too late, but there is so much that I truly want to better understand. But first and foremost, I need to get to know the people. I need to get to know the council, the staff, and all of you residents. That is definitely first and foremost, along with all the other things.
Ms. Crawford, Abilene is also dealing with some aging infrastructure. That was something that you implemented a lot of in Brownwood. How do you plan on addressing that here?
Again, I need to have a better understanding and evaluate that aging infrastructure dynamic. I also know that we are operating on a 5-year plan for water and wastewater. So better understanding how far we've come on that plan. I also know that we have a plan for street rehab as well, that we have made significant strides in, but obviously have more to go. So my first duty will be understanding where we are in those plans, and then looking at our budget allocations in this coming year's budget to make sure that we're continuing to move the ball forward on that aging infrastructure.
And you also talked about getting to know the community at your farewell ceremony. I know, speaking with a lot of the attendees, they mentioned that you were very personable, that a lot of people had actually met you as a friend before they knew what you did for your role. So how do you plan on getting to know the community here in Abilene?
My husband and I have been going to a different park every evening to walk and to get to know the community and to familiarize ourselves. And so if we have the opportunity to visit people there, we are. We also like to go out to eat, so we'll be visiting restaurants. We plan on visiting churches as well to get to know the community. And then certainly I'll be able to make my rounds with all the civic clubs and those types of things as they invite me to come and meet them. So my calendar is already exceptionally full, and I do appreciate so many community members and nonprofits reaching out to me to get to know each other and help me understand their role in the community as well.
Do you have a favorite park yet?
I haven't seen them all yet, so no, I can't answer that question. Number one, you need to know I don't have favorites of anything because there's way too many options to choose a favorite.
You talked there about getting to meet a lot of people. Have you gotten to sit down yet with Misty Mayo?
We have not yet. We, in fact, just sent her an email this morning, and we're trying to get our calendars aligned.
Well, just if you feel comfortable speaking on it, how do you see that relationship, or just the DCOA as a resource here in Abilene? They've definitely been very prominent in going out and getting things and working with the city. How do you see that relationship continuing under your tenure here?
It's an incredible partnership, and it has to be one that is worked very closely between the city and the DCOA. I have seen so many projects that the DCOA has taken the lead on and that have been very beneficial. I'm excited to work with Misty and all of her team there, and definitely am excited about some things that we can partner in, because like I said, we're all in the same business. We're in the business about making Abilene a great place to live and to work, and we're after the same goal, so I think we'll be able to work well together.
So speaking of goals, and your plans for kind of going forward in the next coming days, weeks, months, what are your goals for 6 months into the job, a year? What are you kind of planning to do?
My first goal, obviously, is to get oriented. And like I said a couple of minutes ago, until I really understand dynamics, I certainly don't want to make any unnecessary changes or make any giant swings until I really understand the dynamic, and I don't know that that will be necessary. So my first goal is to get to know the people, to get to know the organization, to make sure I'm up to speed on all of our capital projects. We've got a budget that we need to get passed in a couple of weeks, and so I'm already in the throes of that as well. As far as 30, 60, 90 days, I haven't defined those because I need to evaluate first.
And getting to know the community, one thing that is also important to a lot of Abilene residents is communication. How do you plan on, maintaining that line of communication with the community and remaining transparent?
I think we have a great communications team, and you know them, and several of them are in the room here, and so that will be part of the dialogue that we have internally is, what are we communicating? Are we doing it in such a way that is understandable and that is timely? I believe they're doing a fantastic job. And so I think if anything, it's just a matter of making sure we're constantly on the same page and being able to get that information out there.
Any words for your predecessor, Mr. Handler?
I definitely believe that the synergy and the excitement and the growth that we're seeing in Abilene to a large degree can be attributed to his tenure and his stability as city manager in Abilene. I've already found so many policies and systems internally within the organization that he put into place. And so that definitely helps me coming in as the new person outside the organization to know that there's some really great systems and policies in place so that I can just start to run and build on those. I have not found anything that has been what I would consider broken within the organization, and I believe that is because of his great leadership, and obviously Mindy Patterson and her leadership that she has exhibited the past few months. The organization is healthy, it is stable, it is strong, and I believe that it's allowed me to be able to come in and really focus on those major projects, on economic development, on building relationships, because I do believe that the organization is stable and it is strong.
In terms of getting oriented, what are some avenues or who are some people that you plan on, tapping and maybe leaning on to really get acclimated within the city and your role?
Sure. First and foremost, the city council. The city council are the elected representatives of the city, and so they do have a voice, and I will begin meeting with them individually to better understand that voice that they are hearing as well. And then your local chambers of commerce, the DCOA, your foundations, nonprofits, those are also the voices in the community that I will be listening to.
Is there in your experience in city government, is there a core department within a municipal organization that everything else flows from? Performance, attitude, goals, and how do you if not, how do you develop something like that?
I would think that the core, when you talk about an organization and its people, so to me that is about the culture of the organization, and that has to be grounded in your core values, which the city of Abilene has the RISE values: respect, integrity, service, and excellence. And so in my experience, when you have an organization that has core values that are not just on a wall or in a book, but they are talked about and they are modeled from your senior leadership, then that becomes a way of life. And to me, that is where culture really thrives, is when everyone can have an agreed upon set of values, that this is how we are going to operate, and these are going to be our principles by which we operate. There's a lot of great goodness that can come out of that, because then we are all in alignment with our mission, with our values, and we can all walk lockstep together instead of just being fractioned and not really cohesive in our mission and what we say that we're about.
We've just come off of or coming down, I guess, from a pretty nasty cyber attack.
Yes.
And I would be curious to hear what are your lessons that you think are learned, and things that
I have not personally experienced a cyber attack, and I am incredibly thankful. Part of me wished that I was here so I could have helped, but also so that I could have learned. But I know the team here has learned a significant amount, and so the lessons learned through that, in my opinion, are the resiliency that an organization of this size has, and I believe that the organization of the city showed a great deal of resiliency to be able to continue to provide the services to the public, to be able to keep the doors open, and there had to be an incredible amount of adaptation, and that's an important aspect of an organization as well, is to learn how to be nimble and to adapt. We can't presume things are going to be the same every day, and so I'm really proud of the team for adapting and being resilient. And then, of course, the ever-present looming threats that are in existence now to our digital infrastructure that we didn't have to deal with 20, 30 years ago, and making sure that we are protecting our assets and protecting our digital resources is something that obviously we cannot take for granted and be lax about.
This is another one I have. So the state legislature, I guess in the last 4 years, has allocated $500 million to the State Film Commission, and I get emails all the time about different communities saying Abbott saying this, Tyler is a film-friendly community, Sweetwater is a film-friendly community. Is Abilene going to be a film-friendly community someday? Because I'm looking for my close-up.
I think it's definitely something that it could be, and I have not applied for the film friendly. I have been a part of other types of state designations of tourism friendly and music friendly, and so I definitely think it's something that could be sought after.
What is it that, is it just a title, or what really comes from that? Because for years in front of Abilene's, in front of the convention center, was known as the Civic Center, there was painted on the side, on the street, that we were an all-American city or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know where that extended beyond, obviously, because we're in the heart of Texas. But in your experience, those kinds of programs, what would we expect if we were able to go after that?
So there is criteria, and again, I've not applied for that specific one, but for the others I've been a part of, there is certain criteria that you have to be able to meet. I would expect with a film friendly, there are certain things about having warehouse spaces available for the filming, other types of local resources, maybe security. I'm not real sure, but there is a list of qualifications, and then after that, obviously the point is that it helps recruit those filmmakers and producers to know that if they go to one of these cities, then it should be easier for them to be able to do their work because that local community has all of the criteria needed to help them do their work.
Do you think there's room for like a city commission or something for that sort of endeavor?
I think if the community and the council are interested in that, it's something that can be pursued.
I will say, ever since we heard the announcement, I think we've all been very eager to get to meet you in person. The question on all of our minds has been, have you considered becoming a Bison fan yet, or have you been to a game?
I have not been to a game, but I actually had a text message string between some of my friends about the Flying Bison, and I discovered and learned that they used to be what are the little critters?
Prairie dogs.
Prairie dogs. Thank you. I'm not fully versed in the history of the team. I've not been to a game. I certainly look forward to going to one. I met a gentleman this morning representing the Flying Bison, and I will definitely enjoy that.
They're playing tonight?
Okay.
They're the Prairie Dogs on Thursdays, I think.
Maybe they are.
Throwbacks.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to
Yeah, I was. So I saw the Prairie Dog Village. That's what started this whole thing.
Yeah.
At Rosebud.
Redbud.
Yes. Forgive me.
That's right.
Redbud Park.
I've done
Park.
that for years.
So that's actually how we ended up with the Bison. Was it started with the Prairie Dogs?
Very cool.
That's good.
What is the most interesting thing that you've learned about Abilene so far?
Oh gosh, you've got some really stumpers over there. I think one of the interesting things that I have learned about Abilene is its history. So in doing some research about Abilene, I saw that, for example, they were one of the first cities to adopt the city manager council form of government. And that has been a very important role in Texas cities in having a professional city manager as the CEO, if you will. Another interesting thing about Abilene is I think they were also one of the first to adopt the Type A economic development sales tax. So Abilene has been a forerunner in local government for ages. And that excites me about the city and about the legacy that Abilene has in having solid local government and being a front runner in those types of decisions that which other cities across the state have followed.
Looking at Jeremy. No? No pressure.
I mean, I can ask you a question if you'd like. Welcome again. But my question would be, we've watched some of the small cities as we talk about like film, film guy's eye, but, like Austin, for instance. And I was wondering what your take is on the future growth of Abilene as we sit with approximately 140,000 AI center now, and rumors, of course, of not having housing for some of these individuals, but yet there's a lot of dilapidated housing running around town. So what do you think the future is for the growth, or what do you want to do for the growth of this community?
Well, I believe Abilene is already growing, and so that is something that we definitely need to be prepared for in our infrastructure, in our housing, in our educational sector. And I know that the city doesn't do education, but we need to make sure that we're partnering with our public school systems. Growth is something that can be a very significant challenge. I have city manager friends in high growth areas that once were very rural and now are booming overnight. And I don't see I do not anticipate that kind of growth, but I do anticipate steady, consistent growth. And that is what I certainly hope for, because then we can plan for infrastructure, then we can make sure we have enough building inspectors to handle all the demand of the new construction and the permitting. And growth is something that is challenging from a cultural perspective. When you have a community of people who have lived here all their lives, a very long time, and suddenly there's an influx of people who are not from here. And so that can change the feel of the community. And so I think that's a dynamic as well that all of us need to consider. We're Texas friendly, and we do pride ourselves in being community minded and welcoming. And I hope that we can continue to do that even as we have new people like me move into the community. So there's a lot of dynamics to growth, and it is something that I know that the council is discussing, that they're aware of. Like we already did make several zoning changes today. It was multifamily, it was patio homes, single family. That's the other thing about growth, is we have to have diversity in our residential options for people. I love the Rebuild Abilene project. I know that the city has been doing that for a few years now, and every year all the funds have been used. I want to learn more about that, because I also believe that infill development and redevelopment can be critical. We already have the neighborhoods. Some of them may just need some help in getting revitalized. That's a tough challenge, but I do believe Abilene has already begun addressing it through the Rebuild program, and I'm interested in learning if there's additional things we can do to continue to have that moderate level housing availability for people.
And I'll just say really quick, I was in Brownwood on Monday doing the siren story. They missed you tremendously already. Just so you know.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
extra beer? All good? Yeah, I got plenty for this one. Yeah.
Our San
Oh.
Angelo.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Oh, no, I was turning my camera off.
Oh. Our San Angelo reporter suggested should ask her if she likes pineapple on pizza, but I'm not going to ask you that.
Off the record only.
Because everybody knows that that's what sustained the Israelites for 40 years to the desert. Was
Pineapple on pizza?
Hawaiian pizza.
That's the
It
most
is, it
interesting
is.
thing I've learned in Abilene so far.
It can be good potassium. I don't know. Awesome.
Well, thank y'all for your time today. Thanks for coming back. I know y'all were